Hi everyone, Cindy here. Can you see me? I'm trying to sit outside again. Hope everyone's having an amazing day, and now I'm doing my hair. So you guys can get a good giggle and laugh. If you are here and you can see me and you've joined me, just put a little thumbs up or heart or something. And today on our series, we featured one of my great friends, business bestie. Hi Beth. Her name's Gladys Diaz. She's awesome. Sorry, I'm just getting a little derailed, you guys. Sometimes I get distracted when I see people come on or I see questions. But at any rate, I do want to get your questions answered. And another dear soul is Katie Tai. So they were both featured today, and both really strong in my network. I adore them both, and a lot of what we discussed today is just touching on Gladys, and what her and my conversation is not letting the past interfere with your present or future when it comes to love and relationships. Hi, Amy. And, that can be really hard to do when you've had a past where you've experienced some pain, you've experienced trauma, you haven't had the relationship that you really desire, and it can be frustrating. And so it's easy to take that, I call it baggage, and these people can be in the back seat of our car, and it's like there could be 8 people in our back seat when we're trying to really move forward and start something new. And that goes into limiting thoughts and belief patterns, and really looking at what's happening. I'm the only common denominator in my relationships, right? And Katie in the house, I was just talking about you. And so, that said, it's really good to be conscious of, when you get clear and just process through emotions from the past. And the way to do that is seriously just to feel them. Journal, write down your feelings in a targeted manner. I'm feeling really sad. This came up for me. And it could even be through, just when you process a breakup, it makes things a lot easier when you feel your feelings and not try to stuff them, because that's when you get the baggage in the back seat. So Gladys and I talk about that in tools to, really work things out when it comes to mindset, and, really looking at what is real and what is the stories that we create in our mind, right? Those can be the little rackets and, things that we can seriously make up. So I want to move forward because I want to touch on this too. And I think this is a really important piece. And this is something that Katie brought in to our series, was creating space for a partner. And maybe you've heard this in the past around, having an open, having 2, dressers and having an open one. So you reserve open space, and, having space in your refrigerator for your man, space in your closet, those kinds of things. But even coming down to what makes you happy in your space. And Katie and I had a little bit of fun. We talked about even color-wise, because, you probably don't want to do if you're a single woman, you don't want to do your house in all fuchsia and all total girly colors. But you can have a space where it embraces the masculine and feminine, and with colors that you love and enjoy, that are going to still invite a man, a potential partner in. So I always think that that's just a really important piece to the puzzle. Hi, and anyone that has questions, I'm here for you. I see a bunch of you guys that have joined. Post your questions. Post your questions about relationships, dating, what's going on, what you thought about the series. I'm here for you. And it's what's really good in this arena or anything that you're doing is really to be present and thoughtful about what it is you want to bring in. And if you're not bringing in what you want, I think that it's a really smart idea to talk to an expert and talk to somebody that, talk to a coach, talk to me, or, anyone that resonates with you, and become open and coachable. And if you're here, my guess is you're probably coachable because you want to learn as much as you can. And I think that is phenomenal. But if you're feeling stumped, you're feeling like, gosh, I'm a great catch. I think all of you guys are. I have, all these things happening in my life, but there's something that's missing. Then post below. Tell me what's going on. Schedule an appointment in my calendar. I'm happy to just sit down with you and help you open up to what's possible and see. I always believe in personal development. I mean, I think I posted, my group call from last week, and hiring mentors has been a big part of my journey and really becoming really an expert in my field. And that's how, and I grew a passion for it through that, and who knew? So at any rate, that's just my 2 cents in my opinion. But if there's something, if you're feeling like, gosh, you feel like you're dating someone, or you've been dating a couple people and this guy goes hot and cold, there's usually a reason for it. And it's typically because they're not committed, and they're not committed to you enough to really show up. And it makes all the difference in the world with how you react around that. So if a guy, hold on, sorry, I'm looking at notifications on my phone because I haven't figured out how to use my tripod. I'm not a tech gal. Anyways, so, but at any rate, if you're finding that, someone's hot and cold with you, it's because they're not certain and they don't know. Okay. And I'm seeing a question, so I'm going to answer it. Okay. When you start. Yep. Yeah, so we talked yesterday about online dating and being precautionary about it, which is really good. And I think that's a good question. So I'll answer that in a minute, Renee. And, if you're having that experience where it's a tug of war, push-pull, and I don't know, I felt called to say something about that today because I feel like somebody out there needs to hear this. It's always good as a woman to be more distant than he is. If you haven't heard from him in a week or 2 weeks or 3, whatever, you're a little more distant. You don't respond right away. Maybe you wait a few days. And it's more about, or you don't have to respond every time someone reaches out. Oh, you're dealing with that. Yeah, I felt like somebody needed to hear that. And you've got to also look at empowering yourself. If don't let him or someone else take your power. What can you do differently in this area of your life? Well, what you can do is you can get out there and start dating, because there are tons of online platforms that you can do that on. A couple calls ago, a couple lives ago, I went over online dating and, some of the platforms that I highly recommend. And that's the only time I'll tell you guys to actually get, to reach out to men. So I want to get back to your yes, you do. Yes, you do, Kristen. I love you. So we really need to get back to what I was saying, what Renee's question was. Renee was asking, gosh, you can, absolutely. Let me go back to your OkCupid question, and then I'll go to sites. So everybody wants to hear about online dating sites. I love talking about that stuff. Clearly, I geek out on this kind of thing. So, yes, you can give them your first name on a dating site. I think that's a really good question. Absolutely, be transparent. Give them your first name. And also just, I coached you guys a little bit on really just doing a couple messages back and forth and turning it into a meeting. That is really important, because online, for lack of a better way of saying it, the longer it goes on, the easier it is to fizzle out, the less interest that is really happening. So, especially for a guy, when he's online, he's not invested until he's met you. And so you've got to remember that, like, step out. Yes, Renee, congratulations for taking that step. It's awesome. I also, I talked about this before, is really recommending having a very marketable profile, pictures where you are smiling away and looking straight into the camera, and, a full body shot, a quarter body shot, those kinds of things. Those will, it helps showcase who you are. And you want to showcase who you are, because you want the person that you meet to go, oh, okay, yeah, that's her. And oh man, she even looks prettier than she does in her pictures. And so, those kinds of things. But, to what I would recommend, Renee, on OkCupid, look for an 80, put in the search box 85% match or better, or just put 85% match, and they'll come up with 85% or better. And then you can look from there, pick, the strategy that was taught to me was pick 50 men in 20 minutes and write just hey, notice your profile. It looks like we're a good match. We must have some things in common. Would you like to meet for a quick coffee and get to know each other further? That's it. Really quick, easy, simple. It's a cut and paste email. Some people might know it. Some people might say, oh gosh, some people won't like that, but it doesn't matter. It's the right person will, and this is what I call lead generation. And from 50, you'll get probably 12 to 15 viable people, which will probably result in maybe 6 to 10 dates. And then, yes, I recommend multiple sites. I recommend really, I've had, a lot of my clients have had success on these sites. Match.com, Bumble, Tinder. There's a couple others, Coffee Meets Bagel. I think there's a new swipe site that comes out every day. What if you're not attracted to their photos? Good question. Reach out if you see that there's some connection. I would, let me see if I can download this call that I did last year to my group about using your intuition and this kind of thing. I would, when I search for my clients, I use an intuitive thing, and I get to know them a bit. And I think, okay, so would this fit with them and their lifestyle? So let's say, for example, you're somebody that's really active and you're healthy and you love to hike and you love to, do things and you love to travel or whatever, and this guy has, a bunch of pictures with him and guys watching football, drinking beer. May not be your kind of guy. Not to say that you don't like football or a beer once in a while, but it's not your lifestyle. So you can tell, I think, what's that saying? A picture says 1,000 words. I think you could tell a lot through a photo. And if you're not that attracted to them, you can't tell chemistry through pictures. And especially men, God bless them. A lot of times they post pictures that I'm like, I don't know that was like highlighting your best side. So, so I would recommend still reaching out, because you just don't know. You really don't. And it's better to go through that. And so here's the second part I'll say about that. And I think I mentioned this the other day too. It's, so after you guys message a couple times and he's like, yeah, it'd be great to meet, say, okay, sounds wonderful. How about if we hop on the phone for a quick 10-minute chat? And that way, if you have, like, I believe in verbal chemistry more than anything. So if you have good rapport over the phone, you can talk to them, they're fairly easy to talk to, then chances are in person you're going to have a nice time. So go for it. You never know. And, the thing is to be having a lot of clarity around what it is you want, and then how you want to feel when you're around someone, and really getting to the bottom of, what you want to create in your life. And sometimes it takes soul searching. Sometimes it takes a little bit to figure that out. And I just recommend dating and getting to know a number of people. And I told this to a client of mine earlier today. She's very, very serious. She might even be on here right now. She's very serious about meeting her man, and she wants to get married. She wants to have a family. And I said, okay, so let's sit down. And I was talking to her about how many dates she was going on. So we've got to figure out. So what I did with her, I'll just tell you guys this. I look at it as a formula. So she was going out on average. Whoops, had a little something, little flea or gnat, sorry. She was going out on average 6 dates a week, which is, almost one a day. And sometimes she would go on 2 dates a day. And I said, okay, can you do that for a little while? And she's got 2 viable possibilities right now. I said, okay, great. I want you to continue to go out on 5 new dates a week, if that's possible. And you call your friends and you say, I'm busy. I may be busy for the next month or 2 because I'm bringing in my man. And I know it sounds kind of silly, but we have a strategy around it, and she really wants to bring him in in a certain time period. So that's our strategy. Good question, Jen. Yes, the majority of my clients do meet online. So I hope that was helpful, Renee. Back to you. Oh, shirt's not on. I don't like that. I think that's cheesy, but that's me. And I'll get back to you, Jen. I think that if someone feels like they need to take their shirt off and show you a picture of them, it's like you being in a bikini. Do you really want, even if you've got the best body on the planet, seriously, it's better to show less than more. And I'm personally like a more conservative approach. So, yeah. you can definitely meet not online, and you definitely can. I just look at what are my odds, like, so how exposed am I to meeting a lot of different people? I feel like unless you're in college or you're going to a ton of networking groups, then you're not going to, I hear my door, so I'm sorry, you guys. You may or may not meet him. And you want to get a little bit, it's kind of freaky, but I want to share this with you guys. You want to get a little bit strategic around that. And that's where you put on a profile that actually, sorry, I thought there was somebody here, has a, that has what you're looking for and the type of person you are. It showcases it and it tells a bit of a story so that you can have a higher chance of attracting the kind of man that you want. I mean, even in your thought process is like, if you want a certain type of partner, then, where are you going and what are the chances of you meeting them? So looking at all of those things, I hope that's helpful to you, Jen. But, I could give you a lot of other scenarios around that, but really the key is to have clarity and to have clarity around, okay, what is it that I want in this area of my life? How do I want to feel when I'm with this partner? What do I want to create? And then you've got to move back from there. And then what's been the common denominator? You're welcome. Whoops, see, I told you somebody's at my door. Sorry, you guys. It's like you're at home with Cindy. Hold on one second. Hi. I've got a little interview here. So anyway, I'll be... you're welcome. Is there one site that's better than another? Well, I can give you different opinions, but this is what I found. I recently learned a lot about OkCupid, so a lot of my clients are trying that out right now. The success so far has been just okay, but it's hard to tell because we've just implemented the strategy. Match.com, Bumble, Tinder are the top 3. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, those apps are hookup sites. Sure, there are some people on there that want to hook up, but for the most part, it is, they're just like you. And they're looking for love. A lot of people are. And it's a good way to network and meet different people. And in fact, I'm doing some research about a networking app that is like a sister company of one of these, of Bumble or Tinder. And it is about connecting. And so I always think that the more, the more fruitful your social life, the more things that you're doing and getting out there, the chances are, and going to places that the kind of person that you might want to meet is, the chances are you're going to meet him, or trying something new that you've always wanted to try. Maybe you want to try sailing, maybe, who knows, but you can really look at those types, just like, there's a bit of strategy when it comes to this, and online is a whole different animal, but you don't have to meet him online. So that's what I'm saying. Anyways, so you guys, I have a challenge for you. Create some space in your home. Like, open, make sure you've got room in your refrigerator, in a cabinet, in your closet. Also, surround yourself with things you love. If you like dark chocolate, whatever, like things that make you happy. If you love flowers, I love flowers, so I try to get fresh flowers often. And, doing little things that, just spruce your home up and make you happy are things that are going to attract more of that, right? It's the law of attraction type thing. But I hope this is helpful. I'm sending everyone a ton of love, and post your comments or questions below. I'll be sure to go through and answer any of them. I'm sending you guys big hugs, and I'll see you tomorrow, because I'll be on tomorrow too. Bye, guys. Oh, you're welcome.